Okay, I re-recorded this actually. Now that you have a little bit better understanding of market share and what it means to the to Haldeman, I'm gonna show you all that there is concerning the market share directly affecting them. And this is only Subaru. However, this will is the same mathematics, everything else that can be done with Ford. I just do not have Ford's number, or I would be happy to do that to figure all this out and get numbers for them as well. So now, what I did, first of all, so you know, this calculation is the total of District 1 of the zone, Philly zone. They have 5 districts, and this is District 1. This 1032 right here, the total sales for District 1, is only computed for the District 1 in this row that you see. I stuck in District 3, this one, to show something which I'll explain later. And number 5 is a dealer that's District 5, but is a close competitor in distance to Haldeman. So I put this in here. But these numbers are off the 1032, but these numbers, right, the sales numbers are not in the 1032. These were I stuck in after. This number is true and correct to District 1 in the zone, in the Philly zone, okay? These right here. So now, what we see here, okay, is that, without 3 here, is that Haldeman, this is Haldeman here, has 4 below them, and they're in 8th place. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, higher than them. How is that? All right, you see what's higher, and you see who's below them. However, understand that these, look at the customer base. This is given an overall idea. This is actually retention customer base, but it's given an idea of what their customers are. But the real market share numbers is this number here and these numbers here, which are fact. These are the sales of each store in District 1. This is the total sales of District 1. The percentage is, like I showed you here, this off of that equals 14.5%. The percentage more than Haldeman is computed by taking their 68, the percentage in the 150 is 221% more sales. That's this row. So now this is, I'll say, March numbers, okay? These here is the inventory, which I did a week ago, last Sunday, okay? So that inventory is now to date. It's just to show, which I can do a whole inventory analysis as well to figure out how they are allocating, whether it's for the whole zone or are they doing it within districts. I could easily figure that all out too. That takes time and effort, which until I get an acceptance, I'm not going through all that, because then you know how you'll have a trade strategy knowing that, which is important. You don't want to trade with those who have power over you that take your good vehicles. You want to be able to trade with the ones that are around equal to you or lesser, so that we have the power. I mean, it makes sense. So, I mean, if I was to, I would like to do all those numbers so that we know, the best strategy to trade and who to trade with. That all will give power to Haldeman. So now, back to the market share. As you see, they are not in a good position. All right, Haldeman Subaru is not. Size, they are at the bottom of the list. They have, look at these, 30. You know, the size lesser, they're getting 130. These are all pretty comparable, and they're getting way more sales. Why is that? Well, they all have the same cars, maybe not the same allocation, of course, which of course is divided up by their sales. So it's not the cars. The cars are all the same. It's not like one has a better brand than the other, obviously. Um, and it's not the stores. They all look the same. Subaru made it that way so that the customer has a trusted brand. All right, so that they can go in and know what to expect at every single store, which is their strategy over other brands, anyways, for trust value and blah blah blah. So now, location. Haldeman has a great location, midst of highways, everything else. So it's not location. You're right in the middle of Philly, New York City, easy to get to, close off the highways, blah blah blah. So it's not that. It as your CSI scores, it's all customer service, time, um, transparency, and transparency. It's just a feeling of transparency. It's not real transparency. It's an illusion. Create the illusion of transparency. That is one thing that I would absolutely plan on doing if if you guys chose to have me back um, to do this. In customer service, it would be relations and retention manager, like I was, like to put that in real for X amount of time and whip it up. To make it where it is based around that customer, because as you've seen in the market share, we need to do that, and that will draw in more sales. So I want to show you something here so you know where you are. You're in a really crappy position. You're in the question mark position. You either have to become stars or you're going to become dogs. And what did that teach us? That dogs close pretty much most of the time. So we need to prevent this, and this is pretty severe because I'm going to show you number 3 here. Look at this. They have a smaller customer base. It's not the retention. This is the first month I did retention, by the way. The 15 is 22% of our new car sales. That went up, everything else. And God, if I had support for the retention department, for whoever I trained, everything else, and we were all on a smooth transition to the sales floor, everything else, and everybody was on the same page, this could easily be tripled. There's other ones in here that show that, who are working it more properly. And this number could even be quadrupled. Only one person could do so much, and then 2 people could absolutely quadruple it, doing it right through the AI system. You'd never be able to pull those numbers with anything but AI. I'll explain that in the meeting if I'm able to get to a meeting, another meeting. So anyways, all right, we have this guy. It's not retention difference in this number. Look, 160. All right, customer base close to this guy. Why is this guy right here, okay, pulling out 160 sales? We have DeCoco or whatever they're called at 277. They top the whole zone. No, the name's not correct, but that's what I say in my head. Anyways, look at this. This is insane. 160 down here. Like, hello, none of these guys have larger bases. I'll tell you this, DeCoco's or whatever it is, 277, they have like 10,000 in here, okay? They've been around a long time. They built up their customer base. That's why they have 277, but not this guy. This guy is at 160, okay? Like second or third in the whole damn district, and definitely the only one that has a smaller number over here, okay, for how long they've been open, or the size of their store, to establish their customer base. They haven't been around long, blah blah blah, or they've been doing crappy, and then all of a sudden, like take one of these guys doing crappy, and all of a sudden they threw something in here to make these numbers into 160. I know what that is. They did do something, and that's the reason why. And Just look at that. 235% more, less customer base, and they're pulling out 160 sales a month. And this is in March, remember? Okay? That's insane. There's something that's doing that, and that is creating a grand illusion of transparency. So ask me what that is, and I'll tell you. But it's incredible. This guy is doing that as well. Okay? However, they're not doing it correctly. They're doing it with the wrong program, software. Okay? They're doing it with an inferior one to this. This is a superior one. This one is awesome. That they're using. This one is insuperior, and it's crap compared to this one. And that's the difference that it does make. And just like AI, the big difference that it makes compared to something like Mastermind that isn't doesn't have the capabilities of machine learning and tracking, and I mean it's incredible. AI is the best software out there anywhere for anything. All right, so I just want that to be understood for retention. AI, and AI goes to service for ROs, everything else. That's why if I was in there, I'd be able to teach, Yeva and that. I'd be able to boost the RO numbers up, just like I can double these. I can double service when it is done correctly. And intelligence is used behind the intelligence, which I know how to do. I am intelligent, and I can train others to do that. It's something different, and I understand it. So I want to help and be that part that brings that in. I honestly do. So let me help. So anyways, we need to get these numbers up, because these guys are going to take your market share, and when they do, they keep taking your allocation. There's not going to be anything you're going to be able to do. Your profits are going to go down. Of course, you're cutting costs, I'm sure, already. It becomes like you're feeling it, and you probably, I don't know if who understands this and who already knows about this and who doesn't. So I don't want to make assumptions, but those who do are aware of the market share and what's going on. This is a good reminder. And I don't know what the numbers are now, but I'm going to assume they haven't been very kind to Haldeman. So this right here, what they're doing, we should be doing. Everybody should be doing. Everybody will be doing this. And that's why I want you to understand. These guys have part of what this guy's doing, okay, which is helping them, but it's not taking everything. Haldeman still has a chance. Once these guys have that, you don't have that chance to grab all of this market share from them, from the total sales. So many would be going right here and sucking up so many of those sales if you had what this guy has. Okay, and by the way, what this guy has is digital retailing, and there's no reason to be afraid of it. Only 2% actually buy online, okay, which that's the beauty of it. Everybody's playing with it. They may start it, may fill out their application, whatever have you, but mind you, it's a higher profit per vehicle when they're doing this on here. 70% of dealerships that are using it say that most of the time it is more profit, but it's the rest are they aren't making any less. Okay, but 70% say that they're getting more, they're making more profit off of each vehicle out. We have the absolute ability. I did take a webinar, everything else, 2 of them on this guy, not this dealership, but what they're using. And you have complete control of the percentage of the back end, everything else. The back end is not making any less. I want to make that clear. It's not any less. You guys said it, everything else. The people are just playing with it, putting in what they think their credit is, blah, 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 blah. And they're walking out much happier. They're saving so much time and they have the feeling of transparency. But there is no real transparency, for crying out loud. A business is not a public office that is has the right to transparency. It's a freaking business. Nobody's really going to get transparency, and a business is not going to lose money because they implement this into their store. There's no reason to be scared of it. Once you know it, then it makes a lot more sense. But of course, something new and unfamiliar with it is scary. But I'm trying to help you understand it's not. Um, and look what the numbers do. I mean, it speaks for itself. It's not my opinion. The numbers are here. And it's not me speaking, saying that they're in trouble. Haldeman Subaru is in trouble being in this position. It's that scary. Um, so if they're not ready for digital retailing right away, please put me in there. Let me start to get the CSI scores up, get service going with their ROs. Teach Yeva that. Get somebody in so I can teach them the AI system to get the retention up, and that keeps your customers. It also, of course, puts sales on the floor, but it's not going to produce high, quick numbers like this that you do need. So maybe once, if you guys take me on, I get in there and everybody gets comfortable with more of a consultative skill across the board, and is set up correctly, then bring up digital retailing and get that in. I'd be happy to sit down and talk with Danny or anybody. So I would not just say this to them without actually showing them numbers and everything else, because of course first answer would be hell no, just like anybody else's, until it's the good complete understanding of it. So anyways, I hope that clears up of why I had said that. That Subaru is in trouble. It doesn't matter how much money you're bringing in. It matters what's happening. These guys are going to eat up the market. They're going to eat up more inventory, allocation, everything else. You do this, your CSI scores go way up. You start to get allocation. Look, this guy has 255 new cars on a lot. Subaru will provide you with the vehicles when you are using the correct systems that they want to. That is across the board how they want it. That's the difference. Subaru wants to make an image it's the same across the board. I'll tell you this with the service. They want their customers in the Subaru store. As I suggested, that maybe have the customers come into the Subaru store and then somebody take their vehicle over, and maybe somebody, whoever's doing the service leads can be the intro, everything else. I'm not exactly familiar with the service process yet, but that's why I want to hold off until I understand that, and then come up with a solution that may fit. That might get Subaru, if you guys did things like this and got the CSI scores up, it'll probably keep Subaru off your ass with the whole, hey, you need to have the service attached to everything else. There's a ways around that, but it's not like you can just go ask them. You have to show them that you're doing what they want you to first, and then ask them, just like anything, got to pick your timing of asking them, because once they say no, they're going to have to keep saying no now, aren't they? So don't ask them until you got the cards more played in your hand than theirs. That's my suggestion anyways. So I hope that helps, and but my only intention of coming in is to teach the consultative. It has to transform around the dealership for the whole life cycle of the customer to get the and that will automatically in each department raise the CSI scores. I want extreme, above, over the top customer service. I would want it in each of those stores, so that no matter what the price is, it brings value. Okay, having excellent service, customer service, above and beyond. So even if we start with that, people are coming in. So say and it raises the value, so you don't go down to invoice price. Keep back end, everything else. I'm not saying anything different. I'm saying for the customers, they're just looking at the invoice price, okay, of what they want, bottom line. Well, listen, I'm sorry, we're not in a price war. That would be bad for our business, as we learned from the other video. um, what we do offer is great service right now, as you see, and throughout your ownership of your car. And if they say, well, I'm going to go see what Coleman's price is, feel free, and, and not sarcastically or anything, but, hopefully, we will see you back, and we've enjoyed having you here, blah, 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 blah. They walk into Coleman's, and they're not going to get that customer service. Or if it's Ford, into another Ford. I'm not leaving Ford out of it. This plays along. I'm just speaking Subaru because I'm more familiar, and who their competitors are. So they walk into Coleman, they're just going to be like, oh my God, just like a bad vibe all around. They're not getting that good, welcoming feeling. It's all about customers' feelings. It's the grand illusion. And as soon as, if that didn't do it, as soon as that sales guy says one wrong thing that didn't seem transparent or might be a little icky, because it will a lot faster, because the customer service isn't there right away either. So they'll just walk out and still come back, because it is proven price really isn't the big factor. It's everything else. So play the cards right, get those CSI scores up slowly like that. But there's not much time to grab market share, is my concern for Subaru. Okay, because these guys are already using part of the digital retailing. They're using it on dealer.com, and that actually is it's not good. That's what this guy's using through the dealer.com, and it's nothing like what this one is, okay? And like I said, the beauty of it is that only 2%, actually 1 to 2%, buy online. It's just an illusion, and it is creating these numbers, and they can start it like their application, for financing, their paperwork, pick their car out. They'll know exactly which one more in detail, because they're doing the numbers. Do they want limited or premium or the touring? At least they'll have a good idea. So all of that is going to be time saving, and it's making them feel like there's transparency, and it's already proven that it raises CSI scores incredibly higher. So all around, this is a winner, but I know you guys might have to digest that for a while. But these guys are using the crap. So, highly recommended. So really, like I said again, get your retention going, get the whole customer service going, the service ROs, and teach Yeva how to use the AI system to do that. It's target marketing. Yes, you guys probably need a few to digest that, but if you sit down, and I'll show you exactly what it is, it's target marketing. Instead of having to call them, you're targeting them, making them come to you, and that's where the OEM leads come in, and the ones out of the auto loop. All of it's being tracked. It's an AI system, of course it is. I explained that to Will, and Will goes, well, what Subaru.com leads do you want? And I said, I want any of them that come out of the auto loop, which is the Care Connect, which is also Affinitive merged with auto loop, and that's what I'd recommend for Ford. Subaru they called it Care Connect. They took it from auto loop. They said the auto loop, we want to brand our own, so that their customers are getting the same thing across the board. Subaru is really smart like that. It gives like a trust to their customers, which keep them in their brand instead of going to their competitors and brand name wise. So anyways, they dumbed the system down. They dumbed it down a lot, actually, just to keep control. And they are releasing it little by little by little. And they want to see that you're using that. Do a little bit of everything that Subaru wants you to. And if you guys did get this, Subaru will love you. They will be more than happy to give you the allocation. I'm telling you right now. So anyways, toodles. I hope that I can sit and talk with you, Paul, you, Greg, and whoever else you may want, I'd like to sit down with Danny and talk with them. If there's any hesitation or anything else, I would like to sit down and just and talk with them. So, my only goal is to go in there and really um, be a inspiration to a better working environment. It will absolutely create as well happiness. I have some great ideas and love to share them with you. So I hope I have the opportunity. All right. Bye. Thank you. Toodles.